Hi, I'm Victor, co-founder of ActiVote. When I was field director for a congressional campaign, it was my job to get enough voters to commit to vote for our candidate. We ended up knocking on countless doors, making even more phone calls, and also texted many voters. It was a lot of work involving more than 100 volunteers. The two reasons why making all of this happen is such a tough job. The first reason is that many voters don't like it when random strangers knock on their doors and often have little time to listen to what you have to say, and may have forgotten who your candidate was soon after you leave. Also, most voters dislike being called at home and only want to know how you got their number. And text messages are seen as especially intrusive. Voters don't respond all that well to strangers trying to sell them on a candidate. The other reason your job as field director is a tough one is that volunteers want to help, but when they hear that the most effective way to help is to go canvassing, it takes quite the effort to really get them to go out, and then to repeat it time and again. Same with phone banking, which most people don't feel all that comfortable with. So our job as field director really is to get volunteers to do something they'd rather not do, and tell voters something they don't really want to hear. Yeah, the job is hard. Now, there is a way for volunteers to make a difference for your candidate that is a bit easier for both voters and volunteers. Research says that the most convincing argument to vote for a candidate comes from friends, family. So not a stranger calling or another stranger knocking on your door. It's your neighbor telling you about the candidate, or your sister, or a friend, or a colleague at work. Especially if these interactions are meaningful and explain why you should consider a candidate, it is more effective than any other way of persuading voters. At ActiVote, we enable all your volunteers and supporters to do exactly that and make it fun while doing it. Here's how it works. Being field director is all about motivating and activating our volunteers, making sure that they feel appreciated about all the work they are doing. It's about creating a community of people that are all working together and can see that we are making progress towards the ultimate goal of getting our candidate elected. In ActiVote, the campaign engagement ranking shows for all volunteers how they are doing. For every voter they find, their score goes up. For every friend they find that joins the campaign, their score goes up as well. So you can use this to set goals for every volunteer, like finding 20 votes in their network and recruit at least 3 friends who do the same. You can call attention to it when someone made a big move in the rankings to stimulate others. You can set a deadline for everyone and some friendly competition for most improved in ranking. In short, you can use the fact that everyone can see how they contributed in comparison to others in many ways to energize your volunteers to work just a little harder to get that extra vote or that extra volunteer. The impact on your campaign can be staggering. Let's talk through a simple example. Your candidate Jane is running for mayor of your hometown, and John, who thinks that Jane would make a great mayor, would like to volunteer and makes it his mission to contact his whole network, to text them, to email them, or to chat with them whenever they meet. He tells them about Jane's candidacy and why she would make a great mayor. When they commit to vote for Jane, John ticks the box in the app. Every day he can see how many votes he has already collected and how many more people he knows that he can approach. So, when you send out your email to all volunteers about how the campaign is doing, all you need to do is mention the campaign engagement ranking and call some people out on how much progress they may have made. Since everyone can see their ranking at any time, it will be on their minds and stimulate them to be the next person that is called out. Also, anytime you're speaking with a volunteer, you can simply ask them, how are you doing in the ActiVote ranking? If you have a rally with volunteers and your candidate, you can have your candidate speak to some of the people who are doing great in the ranking. What my experience taught me is that volunteers are happy to help, but they want to be visible. They want to be seen doing that work. And that is exactly what the app does. Before you know it, groups of volunteers will have their own internal friendly competition on how many new votes they can get in the coming week. And it will make your tough job just a little bit easier. Here at ActiVote, we're excited to help any campaign to get people out to vote. So be your own first ActiVote volunteer and download the app now.